guys. Today I'm going to show you a rookie's approach to processing a musical score. I should say now that I have no musical training, I have a lot of experience. I've sung in and performed with a lot of different choirs in high school and at Oxford. So I have that experience, but I don't have any musical training though, so a lot of this is going to be based on sort of how I've had to go about learning music. So yeah, let's get started. So the 3 steps that I use in processing a score are timing, tracing, and tagging. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is just look and see if this is a piece that's been done before. That's sort of the logical first step. Look at a recording or look maybe at a few recordings. So actually what I have here is in iTunes, I actually have the album. The first 5 on this album corresponds to this score right over here. Listen to the recordings, listen to them several times. I've had this album for a few years now, so I've listened to them quite a lot. So look how long this first movement, 6 minutes 32 seconds, the second one 3 minutes and 50 seconds, third one 4 minutes 49 seconds, fourth one is 2 minutes 20 seconds, and the fifth one is 10 minutes and 5 seconds. So that's the first thing you want to do. It gives you a sense of how this group has paced it, and that'll give you a very good start in translating musical time into real time, which is something, as someone who's done more physics than music, something that I really have to do. Okay, so get a total runtime. Sometimes the albums have them, sometimes they don't in this case. So here you just want to add up all of these times. 6 minutes 32 seconds plus 3 minutes and 50 seconds, so on and so on and so on, down. Remember that there's 60 seconds to a minute. The way I do it is just to add up 6 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 10, and then add up the seconds. So what that gives you, 25 minutes, 156 seconds. And what you have to do is divide the 156 by 60 because it's 60 seconds to a minute. This entire score performed on this album, done in this album, takes a total runtime of 27 minutes 36 seconds. So that's the first thing. And again, sometimes it's on the back of the album, which helps you out a lot. So now what you want to do is, this score, I actually don't have the front cover of it, but inside the front cover I know for a fact that this gives like an estimated runtime of 25 minutes. And that was just like printed on the front page. So this recording here that I did all the math for is a little longer than the estimated, just a little bit, which means that this is just slower. So equals slower than written. So that's the first important thing to know. So now that you've got that sort of figured out, now you know that whenever you listen to it, what you're listening to in terms of the tempo is just a little slower than written. Now you can choose whether you want to do it as estimated or do it just a carbon copy of something you've already heard. I like to do it more of a carbon copy, but I mean, you don't have to. What you want to do is convert this into real time you can measure on a clock. So you look at this adagio, that gives you the tempo. Now you see this is a quarter note or a crotchet, and that equals approximately 58 beats per minute, right? So that's sort of important to know, because you know, for example, it's in 4/4 here, there's 4 beats to a bar there, it's in 3/4 there, then it goes back to 4/4. So this sort of alternates between 3/4 and 4/4. And that is count every rest your whole life. So basically that also applies to beats as well. So you're going to want to count the beats. I'm going to actually, because it's approximate, I'm going to round it up just a little bit to 60 because it's easier to work with. So what that means is when it's 60 a minute, every 60 quarter note beat values you get, it's going to take you 1 minute on the clock. Personally, I like to have a stopwatch, but you can do it any way you want. So I usually write that down. So every 60 equals 1 minute runtime. And then that'll help you pace later on if you're going too fast or too slow. So that's sort of the most important part, I think, is to basically convert from basically your real world of hours, minutes, seconds to the like musical world of, you know, whole note, half note, quarter note. That's really important because now, you know, you can basically clock your way through it and that'll tell you how fast you're going. And that's basically half of the job done. If you have beats per minute, you can figure out how long something's going to take you. If there's 60 beats per minute, it's going to take you 1 minute to go 60 beats. And then your time signature, right here, if it's 4/4, will tell you after that minute is up, after the 60 beats are up, how many pages have you gone through? So how far along in the score are you? It could be really slow. Depending on how many beats per bar, you could only go maybe 1 or 2 pages. Other times there's fewer beats in a bar. If there's like 2 beats per bar, and then in 1 minute or 60 beats, you'll go a lot further on. So that's the relationship between like time on a watch, beats per minute, and time signature.